You see? Waste not, want not. All the old South African flags have now been recycled as nightgowns. Ek gaan nou slaap. Oeh, die Bosveld lug en die potjie kos en die rooiwyn en Rolfie se lekker stories het my so uitgeput. Ek gaan nou lekker slaap. Wag 'n bietjie. Hallo, Mr. President. Madiba, it's me. Yeah, I said I'd phone you to remind you to take your vitamins tonight. The red, white and blue ones, the green, the gold and the black ones. Vanaand, ja, asseblief. Tomorrow morning you take your Salusa 75. And just 2 eye drops from the Boereraad Moetie I sent you. Not 4, it'll turn your eyes blue. Lekker slaap, liewe oom Nelson. Ach en julle, lekker slaap. Goeienaand. Good night, Hambagachle. Have fun galore. Ugh, to hell with atmosphere. Saibona, Dumela, Molo, hello. Do you remember Operation Vula, that sinister communist plot to overthrow the state, all those arrests and detentions and trials, and a mastermind called Maharaj? Well, of course you don't, because Operation Vula did not succeed in overthrowing the state. We in the National Party overthrew the state. And now that very Maharaj is a minister in the government of national unity, Minister of Transport. Well, Herr Gerhard is transporting me to his house here in the Groote compound where President Mandela and the deputy presidents also live. Herr Gerhard, so a Duitser. When I said Groote, he thought I meant the hospital to have a heart transplant. Can you imagine? I've got a heart. Herr Gerhard, ich habe ein schönes Boerenherz. Es klopft hier in mijn Brust. Oh, jetzt war's mein Hart. Wieso? In mijn Brust, hè? Sie sind ein Dummkopf. Dummkopf des Duits.
Hello, Evita.
Hello, Mac.
Lovely to see you after all these years.
Yes, my dear. Thank you
Please
for
come
inviting me to your lovely house. Thank you. Serena, where did you and Mac meet for the first time?
We met for the first time in London. It was South African Women's Day, 9th of August, 1977. He had just been released from Robben Island. He was a guest speaker at our meeting.
Yeah.
And that's where we met.
So have you as a family been moved around Africa for the last few years?
Yeah, it's been difficult.
Yeah.
We've never really lived together as a family until 1991.
Good heavens.
When based in Zambia, she moved to Zambia. I would be in and out of Zambia. It's the first time that we are really living together as a family unit.
And the children, is it the first time that they've been here in South Africa?
The first time they've been in South Africa and the first time they've had both their parents with them, ever.
How do you feel about your husband being such an important politician in South Africa?
I'm not surprised in a way because his whole life since I've known him has been committed to the struggle and to actually improving conditions for our people. I'm not put out by it, put it that way.
Who was in this house before you? I think it was Ernest Kriel was here. We used to
Ernest
have
Kriel.
little parties here, and I used to bring in Bobotie and things. And then, of course, we had the Boertas across the road there, and Elise, and it was a whole different situation. But, you know, we find that you politicians, you leaders, are so much more accessible. Is this part of the new democracy?
Well, I don't know whether the previous leaders were as accessible, but ours is that we just come from the ordinary people, and that's us. Amongst the ordinary people, and certainly in the black community, you just knock on my door and you walk into the house. There's no need for an appointment.
Yeah.
But life today makes it necessary, and I suppose I'm now secluded where you can only see me by appointment.
And I've got my appointment with you, and that's why I'm here.
Well, you have to force your way.
But I'm Evita Bezuidenhout, Mac. I can go anywhere I like.
Sure, but I was suspicious of you. You've made too many changes in your life.
I am an adaptable South African, like so many of us, and that's the wonderful thing about South Africa, because we all have adapted to this new situation with great aplomb.
Yeah.
Mac, I want to take you away from your family. We're going to get into my car, and I want to show you what I drive around in, not as Minister of Transport.
I hope it's not the same car that you've confiscated from one of the TBVC states.
I'm not saying a word. It's a secret until you sit in it. So, Mac, what did you think of the car?
I'd be happier with my Zeta because I like to do a fast turn.
You can't turn in this car. It's a straight line. Oh, lieve aarde, I don't know, when are you cabinet ministers of this new government going to become normal South African politicians like we were in the old days and each have a car like this?
We'll try it once every South African has got a home and a roof over their head.
Well, maybe they could use this as a home as well.
It's one of the things that we have to try and do with used buses right now.
Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, I am, and I'm encouraging them. We're using containers even to be donated by Transnet and used as tuck shops and factories.
That's wonderful. Now, I tell you that this is one of the cars that I found in the government garage in the Babeti-Kosweti, the disused Babeti-Kosweti Parliament. You're looking for all the homeland cars, aren't you?
Yes, I'm quite suspicious, Evita, how you got access to this car, because it should be on the government asset register.
Well, that's why I brought it to you, Mac, because I wanted to tell you that we in Babeti-Kosweti were very honest about everything, and we want you to take this car back, and you can turn it into as well a small township.
I'll take your word for it, but I'll still call for Sydney and Fumadi to make sure that you don't go back with this car.
No. We are now going to move on to another form of transport that I think you are more familiar with because it is a problem in your portfolio. I've never been in one of those pieces of transport before, and I'm quite looking forward to it. I'll just have to hold my bag tightly in my lap in case something goes wrong. So hold on. I'll get Herr Gerhard to drive on. Danke, Herr Gerhard. Wir können nun nach der Taxi gehen, ne? Well, this is the very first time I've ever been in a taxi, Mac.
It's part of the new South Africa, Evita. You grew up all your life and didn't know how we lived, and within 3 months, you're now in a taxi.
Oh, gosh, it's such a wonderful experience, a new experience. I must say, for so many months, I was scared of taxis because, you know, when you drive in a car, the taxis are very vicious on the roads.
Was that your real fear, the speed, or was it the fear of people like us, monsters?
Nee, nie monsters nie, Mac. Net communiste en ander soort goed. Nee. You know. But now the taxi is a very specifically South African mode of transport recently, isn't it?
Well, you can see they transport more than 50% of the commuters in South Africa.
Yeah.
They have a convenience. They drop you from door to door. But there are problems in this industry because it grew up against the government's wishes. And when the government did acknowledge their existence, it still did so in a very mingy and niggling way. And the industry has structural problems which we need to resolve.
One can really get to know each other much better in taxis like that than buses or trains, ne?
Yes.
Do you travel a lot on a taxi?
That's the only transport we got.
Yeah, it's not too expensive.
Yes, van
niet te duur,
Retreat af naar Wynberg toe.
Hoeveel kost
is
het dan?
120.
Maar dat is baie geld.
Dat is min.
Is het min?
En is lekker, die mense gesels aan so lekker in die taxis.
Moet-
Ons mense is vriendelik in Retreat.
Ja.
Ons almal ken mekaar daar.
En is nou lekker om die minister te ontmoet hier so in die taxi, né? A minister of the people for the people, né?
of the people, for the people. Ek het nog gedink ek gaan in 'n taxi saam met julle tweetjies sit.
Nou ja, Mac, we are now going to go with the taxi. Ek dink hulle sal vir ons vat to the theatre, the Negro Theatre, because I know you are very, very well known for the marvelous ways in which you disguised yourself and hid yourselves from us when we were looking for you. Ons het gesoek vir die man. Vir jare is er nooit van gevind nie. En hy sit en lag vir ons daar so langs die straat, né? Dankie meneer, ons kan verder ry. Dis so lekker, ek moet so iets skryf. Well, Mac, here we are in the theatre.
Yes.
Do you like the theatre?
I have a great passion for the theatre, but it's a passion that I only developed when I was in Britain in '57.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been to just about everything. Every week I was living in the theatre. I even went to see pre-production rehearsals.
Yeah, well, look at our little stage here. Isn't this pretty? Everything looks so nice. Have you been to this theatre before?
This one I've never been in before, but fortunately We don't have to boycott it anymore.
We do not have to boycott anything anymore, Mac. We are now in a democracy and everybody gets a chance to make a fool of themselves, no? It's absolutely wonderful. You know, of course, Pik Botha was an actor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in the National Theatre when he was a young man, many, many, many years ago. Are there any members of the ANC or the SACP executive who used to act in the
Yes, there
theatre?
are many people in the ANC. We even had such a passion for plays that we used to produce them on Robben Island.
What did you do?
One of the plays we produced was Antigone. We held readings amongst ourselves as prisoners.
And did Nelson ever perform as well?
Yes, he was part of the groups that used to participate in the production of plays.
That's the next step, a play with me and Nelson Mandela. Everybody will come and we'll be rich at last. Like I found it backstage, this little box of tricks that belonged to me and Pik in the old days when PV was so difficult. He wouldn't let us go out, so we used to go in disguise to the bioscope. I used to dress as Pik Koornhof, and of course, he used to dress as Mimi Kurtze. Look at those moustaches, aren't they clever?
Who provided these to you, Evita? Was it Van der Berg or Neil Barnard?
No. Neil Barnard was still far too young. He didn't understand these things. No, it was Van der Berg, of course. Was he one of your fans as well, Hendrik van der Berg?
Yes, he was one of my fans, and I think he was one of my admirers from 1964.
Did you have a box of tricks like this when you disguised yourself?
Yes, I did. I did have wigs, moustaches, spectacles, and teeth.
And did you actually get away with it? They didn't catch you?
Well, they only caught me after I came into the country legally.
Oh, without your disguise?
Without my disguise.
Oh, liewe aarde. The danger was there all the time, wasn't it?
Well, that was part of life for us.
Yeah.
It was not only because of the disguise. We were illegalized, and the danger was always there. But fortunately, the disguises carried us through.
Well, the disguise carried us through the negotiation process of us disguising ourselves as Democrats and Liberals. Just joking, of course, just to show what a great sense of humor we all have.
That disguise is still on.
It is.
The Nats sit on the left hand of Parliament.
It's because the right hand is full of the comrades. I am full of admiration because I was an actress, of course, in the old days, and I wished I'd had the opportunities to disguise myself like you did. I think we are off to a very important place, especially in your life, and I think we need a very careful, daar's een vir jou, Mac, and een vir my, because I don't want people to see us. Now, you must just turn the lid, draai die klein knoppie daar sy, tot hy nie meer nie, and then you put it on, and then nobody will know.
Do you think this will work on our mission?
Sure it will. Liewe aarde, we should go to Parliament. Well, Amandla, comrade. I think we can take them off now, Mac.
We seem to be really lucky we got away with it.
I don't think anybody recognized us.
I was worried that your dress was so obvious that they might think you were disguised, that you were really a man.
No, liewe aarde, I thought they might have thought I was Mrs. Mandela. Late to see her husband's not there anymore. Huh? Now tell me, this is a journey that you must have done a few times.
Yes, I've done it about 6 times during my imprisonment.
Yeah.
To and from Cape Town for medical treatment. And it was the one time when you managed to get a glimpse of ordinary life.
Oh, I can feel the boat really starting off. How long is the trip across?
It's about 40 to 45 minutes.
40 to 45 minutes. Well, then, I'm really looking forward to you showing me Robben Island, because I know nothing about Robben Island other than wishing that it was in a different place, because it was such an embarrassment to us back. Mac, here we are in the lime quarry on Robben Island. What in fact did they force you to do here?
Evita, this one has got very difficult memories for me now that I'm visiting it. This was the section where the group living in the single cells with Comrade President Mandela worked from 1966 to about 73. It's evoking memories of on one side, hard work, brutality, work with pick and shovel, quotas being set, and punishment for not doing your work. But this is the point also of defiance, we managed to talk and communicate and build up resistance, begin to act as a cohesive political group. Political lectures started taking place here.
Well, this is an amphitheater of protest now.
It's also the quarry that we found evidence originally started with Javanese prisoners. That goes back to the 1600s.
Nee, machtig. Well, no more prisoners, just memories that mustn't be forgotten. But memories that must remind us not to do it again.
When I look at that clump of trees, I now remember that it's the first time we heard the voice of children after about 6 to 8 years in prison.
Nee, machtig, like. I think I would like us to go and see the real place where it was all anchored, which of course is the prison. Yes. Will you take me there?
Yeah. Welcome. I would have loved to walk there.
Wait, it's the first time you
That's
could
the
take
only
me to prison. Let us walk there, not go in manacles. No.
Not at all.
Thank you. Liewe tyd, this lime quarry has ruined my shoe. Mac, I don't know what it did to your shoes in those 12 years. Maar kyk hoe lekker die hak van my.
I only know what it's supposed to have done to Nelson Mandela's eyes.
It did terrible things to his eyes, but they fixed that up now. This behind us is the prison.
That's the prison.
Liewe tyd, it looks so small.
Well, we were squeezed in.
Yeah?
Our cells were about 7 foot by 7 foot 6. But the others stayed in communal cells with 60 to 90 per cell.
What did you, in fact, do there to relax? I mean, how is it possible? Did you have electricity? Could you read?
The lights were on all night.
You couldn't switch off the lights
No,
to sleep?
the lights were not. This was a maximum security prison, and therefore, according to the rules, the lights stay on all night in case you have escaped. The warden needs to look through the window to see if you're still in bed. And from the point of view of what we did in the cells, initially nothing. You were entitled to a Bible, but you didn't often get it. Finally, we got study permission, provided you paid for it, and then you got your study material. So we spent our time studying and thinking.
Yeah. I believe there's a beautiful guest house not far from here where I remember some of my friends in the Broederbond used to come for weekends. I'm sure you haven't seen that part of Robben Island, so maybe I can show that to you now.
I'd look forward to seeing that because it certainly doesn't fit in with the image of this prison.
Yeah. When last were you on Robben Island?
I was last on Robben Island in October 1976.
And that's when you left here?
That's when I left.
And did you think that you would one day come back as a senior member of an ANC-led government and be saluted by the people who used to lock you up?
Quite frankly, I thought I might come back once more a prisoner.
Nearly. What are your feelings now?
Very, very strange. I'm seeing a part of the island that I've never seen. And I'm seeing a building at a guest house, a complete disjuncture between that and the reality of prison.
Mac, this beautiful mountain and view behind us. So many people in South Africa have never seen it from this angle, it being on from Robben Island. But I have a feeling that some of the prisoners here didn't see it either. Did you have a view of Table Mountain from your cell?
Our group didn't have a view of Table Mountain. There were odd moments when we worked at the quarry and other places where we did get a chance to get a bit of a glimpse of it.
That's right, yeah.
But otherwise, we lived through as if there was no Table Mountain.
And the sounds you heard, what were they?
The most powerful sound on this island is at night the sea. When it's rough, when it's calm. And I had reached a stage after the earth tremor where I found I could control my breathing and my heartbeat to the mood of the sea.
It's so true that this island was an island of sadness and an island of sacrifice, an island of loss. But also, I think you have said that there was another side to Robben Island, that there were jokes and songs and a sense of humor. This I don't understand.
Evita, it's not strange. I think that in all conditions of adversity, human beings have a capacity to partly grapple with that adversity by resorting to humor. And sometimes it's a wry sort of humor. But when I speak about the joys of this island, I spent perhaps that part of my life, that age when I would have been most productive. That is from the age of 29 to 41. So I missed my 30s. And I know it was the time when, as an individual, I was at my peak. But the 12 years meant that I spent it in the company of the Nelson Mandelas, the Walter Sisulu's. Unique individuals, high sense of compassion. Friendships that were built were intense friendships. And I don't think you, Evita, can point to 5 people in your life and say with certainty that here are 5 people that I could entrust my life with in any danger. I can. I can.
Oh, that's wonderful. Of course, I would pick Puk.
Well, he's also featured as the general from Siam, so I think you've got a good reason to pick him.
Ah, Mike, what do we do with Robben Island now that it has become nearly the Taj Mahal of South African politics, now that it's become the Wailing Wall?
When I was in prison, I always argued with my comrades and colleagues that we should make this a university island. I thought it would be the best tribute. But presently, I believe that the mood is swinging towards making it a museum island. I think it has merit in it.
Ach, natuurlijk. And I don't want to see a casino here, and I don't want to see a sort of a Disneyland, or as we used to call, put all the statues of Afrikaner heroes in the cells here and call the whole place Jurassic Park, which was awesome. And this is the moment that I would like to present you with a special gift. Mac, I hope you enjoy what I'm going to give you. It is, in fact, look there, what's right on the front there. It is. It is there for you to use in the future, not necessarily to escape the wrath of the police in South Africa, but maybe to disguise yourself so you can have a wonderful afternoon with your family and not be bothered by all the people who want to congratulate you for being such a wonderful minister.
Thank you very much, Evita, but I thought that when we set off on the boat, we were escaping from Robben Island.
Well, we actually...
I now suspect who you're working for because you brought me back here.
I brought you back.
Another failed escape in my life.
So now you've got all the disguises that you can escape once again. I would like to just say to you, thank you for bringing me here. Thank you for being such a wonderful friend to me and showing South Africa something that they've always suspected but never dared to believe, that the people that we were frightened of yesterday are the people that we can trust and love today.
Thank you very much, Evita.
Thank you, my dear.
What's all the noses?
Oh, well, now I also have an honorary degree from the University of Robben Island, an M.A., Ma, Mother of the Nation, Volksmoeder. And to think that for all those years we kept the people who are now our leaders locked up on that island in full view of our Christian community and did nothing to free them. Well, I'm so glad they're not doing to us as we did unto them. I suppose there is a lesson in that somewhere, no? I wonder what it is. Kambagahle, aluta continua.